Hey guys, welcome back. It's time. We're gonna tip our toes back into the old playtest and trophy scam. We got some additional information, some additional happenings to cover today. I'm gonna try to make it all make sense. If you haven't caught up on it, if you want to know about the scam itself, I suggest you watch the playlist there. Essentially, we had one of the OGs of Pokemon, who was selling off these playtest cards that were supposed to be originals, but it turned out they weren't originals. They were printed in recent years, and that was all thanks to the discovery led by PFM from the Elite Forum. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, we got some concerning stuff that popped up recently. We have the Goldin 100 auction. There's only 100 auctions there, so it should be pretty easy to keep tabs on all of those, right? All right, before we get into the Goldin situation, we're going to touch on the prototype, the roadmap here, just in case anyone's following along on that. I know it's been a little while. Some of you might be new. You got to catch up. But today we're going to focus on Beam, Steady, Marco, Kimura. Akabane, I mean, is like the main topic. We're not going to worry about Zhao. I've heard that he may or may not be in prison. So we'll have to follow up on that, get some more additional details on that. But then we have Kimura, Ize, Royal Card Shop that are going to be discussed today. So get your map out, get ready to circle some stuff. What do we have going on those Goldin auctions? You say. Well, we have this bad boy right here. We got this Dragon Frontiers First Edition Gold Star Hollow Gem Mint 10 Charizard. Have some bids on that bad boy, and you're saying, Rattle, what's the issue? It's just a Pokemon card for sale on a Goldin auction. Well, it got deactivated. You're saying, Rattle, why did it get deactivated? And we're going to go into that in detail in just a second. Second example here, we got the Creatures deck Charizard in a 9. That's an expensive. There's a couple of expensive cards. Where did they come from? Where did they go? Why are they deactivated by PSA? And that's what we're going to get into. We have Marco here, who claims that these were 2 of the cards he traded to Akabane and Kimura in exchange for a fake playtest card. A police report was filed, which you have to do if you have something that's stolen or scammed from you, and it has a certain number. If it's graded by PSA, you go ahead and file that police report, and then you contact PSA to say, hey, these were stolen. These were scammed from me. Deactivate the certs, please. Pretty simple, right? So here's the fake playtest that Marco traded Akabane and Kimura for. We'll touch more on it later, but if Akabane is looking to sell everything off, as the story goes, why is he trading for other real cards? That's a little fishy. And then we have this post by Marco saying these are the 2 PSA cards at auction at Goldin.com that have the code deactivated. Here's his post. He was in contact with Goldin, who didn't deactivate or do anything about the listings for over a week. Should be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Deactivated certs, you probably don't want people bidding on those, right? Take them down. Surely, all those years of experience, you have somebody on staff that can just pull the listings. Simple dimple, make sure everything's sorted out. So I sent an email to Ken Goldin because he likes to. I sent him an email. I haven't received a response. Ken claimed in the past that I should reach out to him with issues of this sort, but also hasn't replied to my concerns that he was going to or is going to sell the Logan Paul PSA 10 Illustrator that was used to scam everyone on Liquid Marketplace. So I sent the information over there. Did it do anything? Did my email work? Well, the auctions are now scheduled for the year 2049. So what? They can't be just removed? Someone couldn't have just changed the year before? Now, I don't know if this was my email, if that was my email that caused the concern, that caused the change to be made. But there's no excuse for the delay, and they should have been removed immediately. I mean, within a reasonable amount of time, not over a week, with these certs being deactivated. Clean up the mess. What's going on here? In the email, I am asking Ken. He didn't reply, but I was asking Ken, hey, who's consigning these cards through you? What's going on here? Was it Akabane? Was it Kimura? Was it Beam? So I asked Ken, who was it? What's going on here? And maybe we'll never get the answer. Maybe the FBI will get the answer. So, moral of the story is, what we're getting to here is that Marco is under the impression that Beam Marco and many others are under the impression that Beam is the one selling them through Goldin. I want to make sure I don't lose you guys here. Beam Card Shop and Steve Void Music are one and the same. Whether or not there's employees or people that run the other account, don't know. Not totally informed on that, but I got some weird responses, and we'll take a look at those later. Or Steph, I guess. Beam, Steve, Steph, but I'll just refer to them as Beam/Steve for the sake of keeping things simple here, because this is an absolute rabbit hole, and my goodness, we got a lot to get through. Now, you're asking, how does Goldin tie into everything here? Do they tie in more than just selling those two copies, those two cards that got deactivated? Well, a year ago, myself and many others found this $2 million private sale of a PSA 9 Illustrator. Very hard to believe. Made a video about it a year ago. Crazy, right? And then we have Pokesun with some very informative posts about it. Says, anyone remember this? Same cert number, the old 823 on the end. $2 million private sale. That's a little weird. And then we have Beam in possession of it, saying that it's plus or minus 500K. So what's going on here? Who was the private sale? What was the private sale? This is why you should never trust a private sale. That's why I don't trust a private sale, especially when the number is absolutely absurd. Were there other cards involved? Is this like the Logan Paul trade for the Illustrator, where it's like the record, it's the Guinness record? It was a partial trade. And I don't believe even that, because as we found out from Shine, there was no sale of any kind on the fake case. We're tying the fake case into this too. We got a whole lot going on. This is absolute madness. So here we have Pokesun with Goldin announced this Pikachu Illustrator PSA 9 sold privately for $2 million in December 2023. Less than a year later, the exact cert resurfaces with a Beam Card Shop, valuing it at $500K on his October 2024 reel. Same card, same cert, 75% lower value. The old $1.5 million loss. That's fishy. That's fishy for sure. Then we got, keep in mind, cert number 824, the very next sequential cert, also sold publicly at Goldin just 8 days later on December 20th, 2023 for $579,500. So if you didn't believe the $2 million, I mean, it's possible. Somebody could just want to waste $2 million, but it's weird that it's so private that we can't find out about it, and that it's the same one, and what is going on here? So thank you to Pokesun. I've been in touch with her. She's been extremely helpful in terms of trying to piece this whole puzzle together. Isn't it strange that the exact same cert Pikachu Illustrator Goldin sold privately at $2 million in December 2023 is being shown as worth only $500K by the owner? Cool. Weird. So she goes into thinking maybe it's like a tax or accounting reason, but if you're doing something like that for taxes, you probably don't want to be using that as a comp. Shouldn't be publishing that as a comp and deceiving the public into thinking that the card is now worth way more than what it used to be. So here's the post, the Beam Card Shop, the old $500K. That was in a reel. It still exists. Then we have the whole Goldin show. Oh my goodness, the Goldin show. We got the two illustrators there, the sequencies, the old 823, 824, being held up, being shown. There's the 823, the same 2-3 cert that Beam/Steve had in his possession, or was now the owner of, for $500K. Then we got our two favorite guys. We have Issei and Kimura sitting down for the Netflix show. Cool. If anyone isn't familiar, many seem to be blaming them for the playtest game. Whether or not, I have a strong feeling that many people that were tight and close to it knew that there was more being printed, knew what was going on, just based on how they're talking about it when they're trying to sell it. They don't want a lot of wishy-washy. Like, is it real? Is it not real? So let's get into the cards that Marco traded for the fake playtest Charizard, starting with the Gold Star Zard that ended up on Goldin. We got another one here. Nice little pocket monster. Map card 2. We got this one. Note that this one is raw, but we'll see it pop up later in a video. In the video, not in a video, in this video. Stay tuned. We got the Creatures deck Zard that ended up in the Goldin auction, deactivated, and now postponed until the year 2040 something. Shining Charizard. We got an anime cell, Charizard, traded as well. All right, here's a conversation between Steady and Beam/Steve. Steady was also scammed by trading cards for fake playtests. Playtests. I'm not sure how many he got. I'm not sure what he got in exchange, but he is out real cards. Beam/Steve confirms that he ended up in possession of the scammed cards. We're not going to read through the entirety of all the DMs here. I'll let you guys pause and do that if you'd like to. Beam/Steve says it sucks for all of us. Also important for later in the video, in this video. Beam/Steve makes it clear that he does not want to be out of pocket for the scammed/stolen cards he is in possession of. And then we have the old Beam card shop post grading of Marco's Game Freak phone card. So the scam just keeps, it's the scam that just keeps on giving. Holy moly. Here it is. And then we have Steady's PPP Adventure phone card that he was hoping to get back, that he was asking to get back. Here's Swolepoke talking about how Beam/Steve is in possession of cards that were scammed or stolen by Akabane and Kimura. He says, what sucks is a lot of the stuff that was traded to Akabane for prototypes was then added as an extra in a massive deal to Beam. I assume that that deal happened. I have not seen any receipts that the deal actually happened, that was the agreement between them. What was going on exactly? It's weird that they were trading for cards to begin with and then selling them off separately. That's a pretty big red flag. But again, everyone was hush-hush about this stuff. So that probably wasn't public information. So Beam actually owns a lot of the stuff that people traded for prototypes. And then he's talking about Beam/Steve here, the guy who gave away a prototype. He gave away a prototype? Some weird behavior in terms of like people who were giving it away and who were auctioning them off separately and that were in a rush to sell this stuff. It mostly becomes apparent when they're DMing people. Why is everyone in a rush to get rid of these things? They know there's more coming. There's no... I mean, Zhao just straight up admitted that there was more being printed in his comments. Multi-millionaire who joined the hobby last year, according to Swolepoke. Now, we have Beam/Steve posting a CGC Zard, this little bad boy down at the bottom here that belongs to Marco. PSA copy that belongs to Steady. So it seems like he ended up with all the cards. Cannot confirm whether or not all of them became into his possession, but it seems that way. All right, now we're going to get into the Bayonet_1965 account, which was determined to be fake. Marco and others believe that this was run by Kimura and Royal. Will we ever find out who's running the account? So there was this E4 thread. This is a juicy little one here. I covered this on the channel. We have the IG account Bayonet1965 is not Takumi Akabane, according to Alec, who reached out to Akabane. Now, the excuse, the flip story, whatever you want to call it, the change up was that, according to Marco, he says that later the excuse for this was that Akabane was just lying to Alec. It was actually him. Make of that what you will. I have no idea. It kind of makes it sound like Akabane was not in the loop on the account that was made. I'm not really sure. Here we go. All right, before we get into the rest of the juice, and there's more juice coming. If you want a rattle hat, they're expensive. Don't feel like you need to buy one. Not a good way to financially support, but you got to get it done soon because I'm going to be placing the order. It's a once-a-year thing. If you want it, get it. If you don't want it, that's okay. If you want to support, the best ways to support are the free ways to support. You can shop with PSA Pikachu, Secura's Card Shop, Card Market, Buyee. Use the collector app for tracking your collection. You can save some money and support the channel at the same time with the discount codes on here. And then you can also just click before you shop for the things that you're going to buy anyway. Make sure it's something you actually want. Buy something for somebody else rather than send me your dollars. Cool. All right. Card Market, thank you to Card Market for sponsoring. Big old thank you to them. Buy the singles, buy the real singles. The singles that were actually released. Man, there's just so much shady stuff that goes on with anything that's prototype or coming from the factory that wasn't released that I think it's all tainted. I don't really want to touch anything of the sort. Be careful. There's a lot of manipulation going on. There's a lot of always, and in any market condition, you have stuff that's expensive because it just came out and it's the thing that everybody wants. So and it hasn't been all opened yet. So be careful with that, whatever you do. Now, here's me 6 months ago covering that fake account. And the juiciest, the most interesting part here is it shows that there's 3 following, that the Bayonet _1965 account is following 3 other Instagram accounts. Who might those be? Well, according to group chats, it lines up with group chats that it was only following Beam/Steve's 2 accounts, Beam Card Shop and Steve Void Music, which Marco claims as well. Who was the 3rd account, though? Who would they have been following? And that was Steady. Likely after this interaction and in order to repost Steady's photo with Akabane. Important to note that I do not believe that Steady had any bad intentions or knew about the scam itself. He is absolutely 100% screwed over, in my opinion. Take that with what you will. All right. Here's an important learning lesson of the day. Please listen to people like Swolepoke. Whether it's fake autographs, whether it's this crazy observation here, and much of it at the time, before it was revealed that they were printing these things in recent years, a lot of it was dismissed as, you just don't like CGC, or you're just a CGC hater, you just have a giant PSA collection, and CGC is, man, CGC, if they didn't know, it is just next levels of irresponsible what they did to enable this scam to take place. It's hard to believe that they didn't know. In my opinion, I think they were close enough, or should have been close enough, that they should have seen this entire thing and should have been very aware of the fact that this stuff was being printed in recent years, not to mention the fraudsters that were involved that have a history of frauding that were right up there at the top of the chart. Oh, especially Zhao. All right, so Swolepoke's post here. Super, super insight, and we are going to read it because it's important. Posting a selfie with Akabane and a signed card only makes things more confusing to me. Originally, people were claiming that all the factual evidence that CGC and small group of others have supporting these cards could never go public for legal purposes. It's seeming like that was a whole lot of smoke. I'm assuming to protect Akabane from potential lawsuits with TPCI. Doesn't posting a selfie of the guy with the cards in question, one of which he personally signed, kind of defeat the purpose of all this hush-hush going on? Yeah, it 100% does. Especially if the account claiming to be him is going to repost it. If that's okay to share publicly, why isn't everything else okay to share? 100% agree. Smoking gun. Swolepoke with the foresight there. We got Beam Card Shop for the record is still following the Bayonet 1965 account. Steve Void Music is still following the Bayonet _1965 account at the time of recording the video. So we're going to take a look back at Beam's initial statement about the scam. Says that basically he's going to make it right for everybody, and that he's going to make a donation to E4 and thanks PFM, Mika TCG, SM Pratt, etc. for their work. So from what I've seen, I don't think anyone was made right directly from by Beam. And this whole in possession of the scammed goods is not exactly a good look. The donation didn't happen. I don't know if that's a nefarious thing. It seems like just he was expecting some sort of way to donate to a charity. E4 is not a charity, last time I checked. So that didn't happen. Make of that what you will. So I reached out back in February of 2025. I said, hey, have you refunded anyone or heard anything from CGC about it? Did you end up sending money to PFM? And they reply with, Beam/Steve replies with, hey, yes, all people that bought any of the few graded cards from auction from me will be made whole. CGC is taking this very serious. And over all of the conference calls I've had over the weeks, the odds have only increased of them being able to count on insurance. And number 3 down here, it's a donation to E4, have been in contact, and they don't have an official route for donations and sorting that out. I guess I should show the whole thing here. There we go. Just in case. Not making anything up. Back in 10 months ago, we have the old Akabane blames buyer and CGC for fake playtest Pokemon card scam. We have another, if this is any of yours, it will be fine. Please be patient. Post by Beam. And we got Pokemon Grade. I'm not sure if this has been resolved or not, whether it was resolved through Beam, but we have Pokemon Grade who is complaining that Beam is not refunding anyone. So they say, remember, Beam was planning to refund all people. I asked him about this, and his answer is I should send the cards back to CGC for inspection. It was just a social media thing. Now, if I remember correctly, Z and G did refund everyone and then took it upon themselves to get that money. I'll have to find out if they actually got compensated by CGC, if the insurance company compensated that. They all it went all pretty quiet. There was no post or anything from what I've seen about CGC. Oh, we made it right for everybody. And then everyone in between, it looks like they did the full shaft. Now, we don't want to forget the fact that we had Beam Collector also selling these questionable art pieces or uncut sheets of illustrators and trophy cards of the sort. Here he says, yes, they exist. Uncut trophy art sheet for sale, offer starting at 1 mil DM. Okay, all right. So we are selling other stuff, which is going to get a little interesting as we continue here. This is just important to note that Beam does sell through Goldin. A little partner post here, selling some stuff. Just to kind of lead us more to believe that that it is being sold. Those stolen/scammed cards are being sold by them. Not to mention that they seem to have picked up all of those cards in a alleged purchase from Akabane and Kimura. All right. Important little note here. We got the Bayonet 1965 account. Their first initial post on July 2nd, 2024. And then we have, oh my goodness, epilepsy. Warning. Keep an eye for the Venusaur here. That's going to be important for the next slide. We have July 23rd, 2024 is the first Beam card shop post on Instagram. So a little bit close together. Does it mean anything? I don't know, but I thought it was important to note. Here we go. We got the Venusaur. The Venusaur that was shown, also promoted by the Bayonet _1965 account. Was it planned? Was it some kind of deal they had going on? Your guess is as good as mine. Now let's get into what were some DMs. This is back when they were real. We have Beam/Steve looking for buyers and who DM'd Jesse Peng. And really strange that the Beam/Steve is also in the conversation from the very get-go, is insistent on the buyers keeping the cards, keeping the complete set. Like this statement here, the initial statement. Also, I do have duplicates on some, and if you know a collector that has 1 mil plus investing budgets able to keep sets complete and not flip them, let me know. Why can't they flip them? Who cares? If you're just selling, right? I don't know if I've ever seen a high-end collector who is concerned about being the only one to own something complete. So, looking for someone that wouldn't flip them and keep them complete. Most important, if I can trust they aren't being sold right away, as that would leave my being the only one with complete sets. Need someone that appreciates them. What? You bought the second set to resell, but you're worried that they're going to sell them? So, little suspicious. They talk about prices. They talk more about prices. Then we get into this bad boy here, where Steve Void Music claims that he picked up 2 of every set, 1 to keep, 1 to sell. That's kind of important. We got some glazing going on here, but don't have to tell you about investing as you get it. Salutey face, winky face. Like, I've had some people say some like, oh, Rattle, yeah, you're the best. And usually they don't mean it. And then we have down below here the Akabane story that has been retold, or the message that kind of came across. Well, it's also that he doesn't care about the cards and wants to enjoy the rest of the years he has left. Wouldn't likely do the same in his position. So he doesn't care. He just wants to sell them. But why was he trading? Why is he trading for real cards? That's some fishy stuff. Beam/Steve indicates that there are more prototypes to come and possibly Pokemon that got cut. It looks like he's got a little inside information going on there. But this is the most concerning part. Jesse expresses his doubts about the authenticity of the playtests, and Beam/Steve replies with, think it's far-fetched, but anything can be reproduced these days, it seems. That's seeming a little bit like the... doesn't want to defend them, doesn't want to say that they're real. You wouldn't want that liability. Now, not saying that Beam/Steve knew anything of the sort, knew about when they were printed or anything else. It kind of reminds me of the like Gem Mint Pokemon statements that he made, where he wasn't willing to like fully back them up, but you're selling them. You're asking for 1 million plus buyers and then selling the sheets and the other stuff, but you're like, you better be damn sure that that's the real deal. So we have posts here. We'll take a look at a few posts before I let you go. We got Beam Card Shop saying that he lost $3 million. The one in question here is supposed to be the first one ever. Akabane handed it to him in person. So now in response, he's going to build a place collectors can trust. And he's doing a giveaway. Okay. All right. Then we got the full of playtests and prototype cards. He made content about receiving them back. Says, I love reading all the comments from collectors who knew these were fake. Laughy sweaty emoji. It's always easy to say that in hindsight about anything in life, but when the creator of Pokemon is the one selling the cards, the grading companies we all trust certify them. Do we trust them? Please don't trust them. Grading companies, auction companies, they've enabled so many bad things to happen that you should not trust them. If you can't verify something on your own, especially in the shady realm of like playtest prototype leaky deakies, be careful. Major auction houses like Sotheby's put them up for sale. Well, I mean, you were selling them directly in DMs and in Instagram stories. It really makes you question what, if anything, in this hobby or collecting you can actually trust. I mean, you weren't backing it to begin with when people kind of cracked down on their doubts. We have another little response here. 616 says, how do you fall this hard for a scam? And Beam replies with, creator of Pokemon plus authenticating company plus auction. Guess that's all the proof a collector normally would need. That wasn't going through the grading company. Now this one's a little bit weird. Last one that I'll leave you with. I find this a bit odd to post if you were scammed and other people were scammed around you, and if you're in possession of the cards that were scammed from people. POV, how the Pokemon scammers are watching the market crash right now. Laughy face, scully, dully emoji. All right, form your own opinion. This is mine. This is me just expressing my opinions and the information that I have at hand. Sharing a little bit of the bad experience that a couple collectors are still the aftermath of the playtest scam. I'm sure there'll be more to come. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time. Bye. Join the Discord. If you want restock notifications, taps in there. He's got your back.